Civil Services Exam Main 2002, file number 4. Question 1. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30 marks. A. Discuss the major irritants in Indo-China relations and highlight the latest moves to overcome these. Important points for answer. India-China relations, problematic issues, steps of solution, progress. Answer. India and China have major irritants in their relations from historical times related to borders and boundary issue. Both have disputed border of 1,25,000 square kilometer. Some boundary issues are also hurdles. China claims a part of Arunachal Pradesh and does not recognize Sikkim as Indian territory, showing it as a separate nation over its website, while India does not consider Tibet a part of China, which China claims to be. These issues and illegal trades between two countries are major irritants. But in recent time, positive and constructive changes are there in this direction. Chinese President's visit to India and Jaswant Singh's China tour has influenced policy of each country. Both have decided to solve the problem of line of actual control. Both nations agree to fight terrorism with joint cooperation. In economic field, they cooperated and proposed to reconstitute joint economic group. Tourism and space cooperation issues also played a role in overcoming the irritants between India and China. Total 161 words. B. How did US respond to the problem of cross-border terrorism in the state of Jammu and Kashmir after the Kaluchek events? Important points for answer. Kaluchek event detail. Response of US. Answer. Kaluchek is a place in Kashmir where a terrorist attack killed 34 army soldiers of India in May 2002. This attack by Lashkar-e-Toba terrorist is in fact a part of Pakistan-supported terrorist activities. All the three terrorists killed in this incident were Pakistani nationals. The President of the United States, George W. Bush, condemned the massacre as a terrible and outrageous act and said that he was appalled at the incident. America has also expressed discontent with Pakistan's attitude. Almost the whole world has expressed support to India's fight against terrorism. Arrival of Mr. Armitage after this incident in India led to detailed discussion for the fight against terrorism and expression of America's support. America has praised India's fight and assured to stand by in this fight. Both the countries have agreed to create a strong voice in all over the world against such cross-border terrorism and to combine in such efforts. Total 157 words. C. Account for India's opposition to Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. Important points for answer. CTBT provisions, India's contention, reasons. Answer. India opposes the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty CTBT on the following grounds. It does not provide for the total disarmament of atomic or nuclear weapons. It has provisions to increase influence of the 5 nations with nuclear weapons by allowing them to retain. Other developing countries are devoid from gaining nuclear power capacity under the treaty. It encourages computerized use and experiments of nuclear weapons. This treaty does not put the work of inspection in any international organization, but in a nation, America, which India does not find a neutral provision. It is to bind other nations like India from acquiring nuclear capacity and yet not removing nuclear capacity as a whole from the world. It does not propose a nuclear power-free world and a time for that. Because of these impartialities of provision in this treaty, India has not signed and has opposed the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. Total 150 words. Question 2. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. A. Explain India's stand on LTTE. Answer. Indian peacekeeping force in Sri Lanka confronted with LTTE. India has always taken strict stand against LTTE in efforts for peace. LTTE suicide bomber killed PM Rajiv Gandhi. B. What does Gujarat Doctrine stand for? Answer. Propounded by former Foreign Minister and Prime Minister I.K. Gujarat, the doctrine has 5 principles of India's foreign policy to end contestations with neighbors and walk extra mile. C. How does India benefit from good neighborly relations with Bangladesh? Answer. Hydrological power generation, flood control, control on terrorist activities, and prevention of illegal infiltration are the main benefits of good neighborly relations with Bangladesh. D. What do you know about Pinaka? Answer. Pinaka is a multiple rocket launcher produced indigenously in India by DRDO for the Indian Army, having capability of 40 km range for Mark 1 and 75 km for Mark 2. E. Explain India's no first use policy in context of nuclear weapons. Answer. It means that India will use nuclear weapons only to counter a nuclear attack and not use them in first instance. Question 3. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. A. What are the problems NRIs have to face if they decide to settle in India? Answer. Changed patterns of life and standard of living, difference of culture, social traditions, administration, customs and governance are the factors they have to set up with. They may face problems in such setup. B. What was India Millennium Deposit Scheme? Answer. The State Bank of India proposed this scheme to attract Indians abroad to invest foreign currency capital in India by offering attractive terms and benefits to counter the depreciation of Indian rupee. C. What has been the impact of Gulf remittances on India's economy? Answer. It has given India a huge amount of foreign currency. During the 90s, it played a great role in India's social and economic development. D. Name the nodal agency to deal with issues relating to Indians abroad and explain its main task. Answer. Indian Embassy or consulates under the Ministry of External Affairs is the nodal agency of Government of India, and it assists Indians in any eventuality as well as all procedural issues. E. What is distinction between non-resident Indian and people of India origin? Answers. NRIs are those who stay out of India for more than 182 days in a year or have not stayed 365 days in India in last 4 years. PIO is that who had acquired Indian passport anytime or either of his parents or grandparents is Indian and had been resident of unpartitioned India. Question 4. Answer any one of the following. Answer should be in about 250 words. A. Outline the main targets fixed in the National Population Policy 2000. What have been the follow-up measures to this policy? 30. Important points for answer. Policy, provisions, targets, follow-up measures. Answer. Indian Population Policy 2000 adopts some clear objectives, strategic themes and operational strategies. Some socio-demographic goals are to be achieved by 2010 according to the policy. Policy aims to achieve stabilized population by 2045, to reduce infant mortality rate to 30 per 1000 live births. Mortality rate is targeted to achieve at 100 per 1 lakh persons. It ensures that according to its target, 100% delivery should be by trained doctors and 80% institutional delivery is targeted. For the achievement of these objectives and goals, education is considered to be of much importance and necessity. The age of marriage of a girl is fixed at 18 years and for a boy is 21 years minimum. Delivery and abortion centers are increased in numbers to prevent unwanted childbirths and ensure proper delivery for a healthy child. To implement and follow the targeted policies, various economic and other rewards are proposed. Follow-up measures to ensure the policy implementation are: to strengthen community, primary and sub-health centers, integrated package of necessary health services to extend basic health services and child health at village and household levels are to be provided through mobile clinics and counseling services. This policy convergences the family welfare programs necessary for this policy with related social services to make it people-centered. More important among all this is that the policy sets up a National Commission on Population under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister to oversee the implementation of the National Population Policy. Total 252 words. B. The main thrust of Export-Import Policy 2002-7 is on creating a framework for enhancing India's export capability. In the light of this statement, outline the salient features of Exim Policy 2002-7. 30 marks. Important points for answer. Exim Policy 2002-7 features, salient features. Answer. The Export-Import Policy 2002-7 aims at enhancing exports from India, both in terms of quantity and types. To realize this objective, it has provided some special exemptions, liberalization, and policy benefits to export-oriented units. It has to enhance agricultural exports from India, allowed export for crops. For this, the policy has abolished quantitative restrictions from every crop except onion and jute. Not only permission, but subsidy is being provided to export fruits, vegetables, milk products, and some other selected goods. This was necessary for them to compete with the subsidized goods of agriculture production exported from the developed countries. The government has established 20 agricultural export zones for promotion of agricultural goods export. Besides these provisions for agricultural export promotion, some other changes are also introduced. With the abolition of duty exemption entitlement certificate, it was necessary and so introduced the scheme of advanced license for exports. For African, Russian, and Latin American exporters, Export House Series is constituted. Units exporting goods of more than 5 crores rupees annually would be included in this series and provided with the tax benefits and some policy liberalizations. Handicrafts and cottage industries are also proposed duty exemptions if they account for exports of more than 5 crore rupees a year. Mainly, special economic zones SEZ constituted under the policy are hope to promote exports from India and so are provided with facilities of reduced cash reserve ratio, permission to get loan and investment from foreign investors, exemption from central sales tax, etc. This aims to increase India's export by 12% and increase India's share in the foreign trade to 1% from present 0.6%. Total 275 words. Question 5. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30. A. What are minimum support prices in agricultural products? What are their objectives? Important points for answer. MSP meaning objectives. Answer. First time announced in 1965, the minimum support prices MSP are those prices at which the government is ready to purchase the production of crop from the farmers in case of fall in market prices below the MSP. Because of this assurance by the government, the market prices never come down than the minimum support prices. These prices are announced on the recommendations of Agriculture Cost and Price Commission ACPC by the government with the objectives of 1. Assure remunerative and relatively stable price environment for the farmers by inducing them to increase production and thereby augment the availability of food grains. 2. Improve economic access of food to people. 3. Evolve a production pattern which is in line with overall needs of the economy. These minimum support prices have been raised to the production of crops in our country, leading sometimes to surplus of some particular crops and their export, contributing to our economy. Total 155 words. B. Outline the main objectives and achievements of the policy of disinvestment in India. Important points for answer. Disinvestment, main objectives, effects on economy, policy measures. Answer. The new industrial policy of 1991 has started plan for disinvestment. The government has public sector undertakings in which massive investment is that of the government. Some objectives of the disinvestment include to release government's capital from PSUs and to divert them into social sectors which can raise standard of living of people. By disinvestment, to increase private sector participation and to create a competitive market by withdrawing government monopoly and regulations. Maximum distribution of wealth by shares distribution to wide base of public. And the most important among all is to reduce the government's expenditure. Due to implementation of this disinvestment policy, some benefits that have been achieved are that government could raise 20,000 crores of rupees by disinvestment of about 50 PSUs, and this amount can be directed towards social sector for raising basic facilities like education, health, etc. Salaries of employees has been increased, quality is being improved due to competition, and the government expenditure is reduced to a portion. Total 164 words. C. With what objectives was Essential Commodities Act 1955 amended last year? Important points for answer. Act, main provisions, amendment, objectives. Answer. The Essential Commodities Act 1955 imposes restrictions and regulations on trade and distribution of some commodities declared to be essential for human life. The list of items under the Act include drugs, fertilizers, pulses and edible oils, and petroleum products. It was amended, the step known as New Grain Policy, to liberalize the regulations with objectives of opening the market to make it competitive, to protect the interest of farmers by increasing chances of earning higher profits, to make production reach to scarce areas, to increase investment of private sectors, to increase exports of production to foreign markets. All these objectives behind the amendment are to be achieved through some positive provisions like elimination of license system. Wheat, rice, oil seeds, etc. can be stored and distributed now as the regulating and restricting provisions have been removed. Behind all this was the aim of encouraging free trade and its benefit to India. Total 154 words. Question 6. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 15, 30. A. What is peak rate of custom duty? What are its objectives in India? Answer. The peak rate of custom duty is the highest rate, currently 35%. Its main objectives are revenue and protection to home industries. B. Define fiscal deficit. Answer. Fiscal deficit is the excess of total expenditure over total receipts excluding borrowings and other liabilities. Fiscal deficit is equal to budgetary deficit plus borrowings and other liabilities. C. Explain the provision of OGL. Answer. An open general license OGL is a type of export license issued by a government to its domestic suppliers. In most countries, they are the licenses with minimal restrictions. It may be an import license which facilitates free import without limitations. D. Elucidate special economic zones. Answer. They provide relaxation in tax and duties for the purpose of encouraging export and are considered foreign territory for the customs purpose. E. Highlight salient feature of National Highway Development Project. Answer. It is a 14,000 kilometer long road project to join ports and important commercial cities to boost trade and commerce through good transportation facilities. F. What is the role of SEBI? Answer. SEBI plays a role of regulating body which deals with all matters relating to development and regulation of securities market and investor protection. Also, it advises the government on all these matters. G. Explain RBI's automatic route in FDIs. Answer. No permission is required for foreign direct investment through this route. NBFCs, non-banking finance companies and SCZS, special economic zones, are part of the RBI's automatic route. H. With what objectives was Annapurna scheme launched? Answer. Annapurna scheme was launched in March 1999 to provide 10 kg food grains to those senior citizens who do not get pension. Later on, it was extended to cover those people also who get old age pensions. I. Elucidate Sampurna Gramin Rozgar Yojana. Answer. Aimed at providing employment to rural laborers, food security and social and economic progress. This is a central government scheme implemented from September 2001. J. The Union Budget 2002 to 3 recommended some services to be taxed. Name any of 4 these services. Answer. 4 services are life insurance, warehouses, health clubs, transportation of goods from ports in country. K. What is dumping? What is its objective? Answer. It is selling of goods and services at very low cost in foreign markets. Objectives are to destroy the market or industries and producers of that country, or to exit the unnecessary production void of demand in home country. L. What do you understand by capital account convertibility of rupee? Answer. Also known as capital assets liberation. It is the ability to conduct transactions of local financial assets into foreign financial assets freely or at country determined exchange rates. M. Define sex ratio in the population of India. What is its present status? Answer. It is number of females in per 1000 population of male in the area. Presently, India's sex ratio is 933, that is 933 females per 1000 males. N. Distinguish between ad valorem and specific duties. Answer. Ad valorem duty is based on value of goods or services changing in rate with the price. Specific duty is fixed on weight, area, etc. O. Define zero-based budget. Answer. Zero-based budget recognizes no base or minimum expenditure for any activity. It insists for the justification of each item of expenditure. So all departments have to start from a scratch. Question 7. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30. A. Highlight the main points of nuclear disarmament treaty signed by US President George Bush and Russian President Vladimir Putin in May 2002. Important points for answer. Treaty provisions, effect on world scenario. Answer. President Bush and President Putin signed the treaty in Moscow on 24 May 2002. The treaty's main points are to increase cooperation in the field of missile testings, to interchange informations regarding the missile defense program. Treaty will substantially reduce strategic nuclear warhead arsenals to the range of 1700 to 2200, the lowest level in decades. Both have emphasized the need of strategic and security cooperation. For purposes of implementing the treaty, both countries will hold meetings at least twice a year of a bilateral implementation commission. This treaty liquidates the Cold War legacy of nuclear hostility between the two countries. The treaty is important for the world as the recent declaration of America's anti-missile defense project had alerted all nations, and again a race of arms would have lead to second Cold War between Russia and America. The treaty will remain in force till 31 December 2012. This treaty will have effect to build up an environment of trust between them. Total 164 words. A. Outline the features of latest Saudi peace plan for West Asia crisis and assess its importance. Important points for answer. Plan details. Crisis solution. Success. Answer. West Asian crisis due to Israeli occupation of some areas of Palestine and other reasons have been attempted to be solved out by some nations frequently to maintain peace in the Asian continent. Recently, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Sheikh Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz presented plan to solve these disputes. This is called the Saudi Peace Plan. This plan contains provisions that Israel should evacuate the occupations of West Bank area, Jerusalem and Golan Mountain regions and recall its army from there, which are occupied since 1967. If Israel accepts the condition, as the plan goes ahead, it will be recognized by the Arab world, establishing trade and diplomatic relations in time to come. Cordial relations will be possible, the plan says, and security of Israel will be respected by Arab nations. The plan thus attempts to remove Israel from its occupation, which is about 35 years old, and practically it seems impossible that Israel would recall its army so easily. Total 160 words. C. NAM, N-A-M, non-aligned movement, is relevant in unipolar world as well. Comment. Important points for answer. NAM, policy development. Unipolarization, relevance. Answer. Non-aligned movement came into existence not only to deviate pressures of two poles of the world at the time of mid-20th century, but for the cause of removal of exploitation, influence and political interference in poor and underdeveloped nations by the superpowers, that is the USA and the USSR. After the dissolution of USSR, only America has influenced the world, making it like a unipolar world. The objectives of NAM are counteracting against any influence as united vote and force for the cause of equality, economic development, and removal of exploitation. This movement is continue in unipolar world also, making the concept that it was emerged as a third political pole false from the very base. Thus, NAM has truly acted for the cause of mankind and welfare of poor, underdeveloped and developing nations, making them immune from empirical and influential social, political and economical hands of the developed and rich nations, equally against the only pole, now America. Total 165 words. Question 8. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. What do the following stand for? 1. WCRA, World Conference Against Racism. 2. SPDC, State Development Planning Commission. 3. Interpol, International Police. 4. WIPO, WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. B. Why was Bandar Seri Begawan in news recently? The Asian Regional Forum Conference was held in Bandar Seri Begawan in September 2002, and so it was in news. C. Who is Xanana Gusmao? Answer. He is the first president and who was a leader of the freedom struggle of East Timor, a newly independent country. D. What do you mean by unipolar world? Answer. A unipolar world is a situation where all economic, political and strategic powers are concentrated in any single country. In present time, the USA has been such center for the dissolution of after the dissolution of the USSR. E. What do you know about North-South dialogue? Answer. North-South dialogues are proposed by the Branch Commission to hold talks for cooperation in development among North-South developed and developing countries. Question 9. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. What do the following stand for? 1. UNCHR, United Nations Commission for Human Rights. 2. UNIDO, United Nations International Development Organization. 3. WTO, World Trade Organization. 4. MIGA, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. B. What is meant by AU? Answer. The African Union, AU, is a continental union consisting of all 55 countries on the African continent, extending slightly into Asia via the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. It was established on 26 May 2001 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and launched on 9th July 2002 in South Africa. C. Explain US stand on the proposal for establishing an international crime court. Answer. US is against the establishment of an international crime court and is not ready to accept it as a part of international legal machinery. D. What is the main purpose of G15? Answer. The main purpose of G15 is to cooperate in economic development of members by promoting investment technology exchange and trade relations. E. Why is SAFTA, SAFTA being mooted? Answer. South Asian Free Trade Agreement, SAFTA, will promote trade relations among SAARC nations by economic liberalizations and freedom of trade. So, to develop cooperation in this field, SAFTA is being mooted. Question 10. Answer any one of the following. Answer should be in about 250 words. A. Plastic hazards, discuss. Important points for answer. Meaning, causes, suggestions. Answer. Plastic is widely used in our day-to-day life, starting from a pen to polythene bag in which we carry fruits and books are forms of plastic. Though convenient in our day-to-day use, it has posed an alarming threat to the environment. Non-biodegradable. Plastic is non-biodegradable and do not decay by biological actions of microbes. They remain in the same state as we throw them. So garbages are created, making our cities and soil polluted. Harmful chemical. To destroy plastics, we can either recycle or burn them. If we burn plastic, they emit harmful chemical gases like carbon dioxide CO2, carbon monoxide CO, nitrous oxide NO, methane CHJ, sulfur dioxide SO2, etc. These gases pollute our environment, though in negligible content. They add to greenhouse effect and endanger our environment, damage sanitary system. The waste of plastic block pipes and sanitary lines so that dirty water came out on roads. This causes fear of malaria, cholera and other diseases. Ocean pollution. The waste of plastic bags, bottles, etc. are drawn to a sea or an ocean by rivers and they are deposited in them. They pollute and disturb the ecosystem of the sea or the ocean. Ecosystem imbalance. Due to wide scale of plastic, water, soil and air pollutions are caused. These polluted components of environment lead to imbalance of various ecosystem of the earth. Solution: to reduce use of plastic wherever possible, to use recyclable bags and things, to recycle the used plastic, not to throw used plastic here and there, to collect the used plastic by the government and then to recycle them. Total 276 words. B. Discuss in detail the internet telephony as an alternative. Important points for answer. Internet telephony, technology, progress. Relevance, benefits, comparison as an alternative. Answer. Internet telephony means talking facility through internet connection between a computer and a computer or a computer and a telephone or two telephones. Earlier, there were only telephones for voice transfer technology of conversation, but even simple telephone services now have internet connected personal computers using either the same telephone lines or higher speed DSL or cable connections. This internet telephony can be availed with a suitable software installed in users' PCs. Conversation between users can be carried either over a local network or between users anywhere on the worldwide network. In local contrast, intercoms or local phones are in distant context. Long distance phone services are replaced by the internet telephony. This internet telephony provides some obvious advantages like cost benefit. Charges of distant telephone calls are higher. Instead, most of the internet service users have local toll-free connections to their internet services providers, and they have to pay a flat rate for internet services. Now, if they use internet telephony, they do not require to pay much additional charges apart from these expenses. They can avail a virtually free conversation over the internet. However, there is one disadvantage. If poor quality microphones are used, they would result into fidelity of the voice transmission. Congestion in internet network may make voice choppy or interrupted. One more limitation is that it can be used only if both the users have PCs. Yet comparatively, internet telephony is a good quality service, cheap and easily available as an alternate to telephones and their modes of communication. Total 257 words. Question 11. Answer any two of the following. Answer to each question should be in about 150 words. 15 into 2, 30. A. What are the fundamental constants and the use in the measurement system? Important points for answer. Fundamental constants. Example, usefulness. Answer. A physical constant, sometimes referred as a fundamental constants, are those values of various measurements which are constant and can be used as units of multiplications of value. For example, speed of light in vacuum is measured in meter per second unit. Its value is used as a unit of measuring some other distances. It is represented as C, which values about 29 crore 97 lakh 92,458 unit meter per second, ms to the power of -1. Similarly, electric charge is measured in Coulomb unit, Planck's constant, etc. are other fundamental constants. Speed of light as a fundamental constant is used in measuring other quantities as a unit of formula. For example, the formula of Einstein is E is equal to AMC square, where E is produced energy, AM is change in mass, C represents speed of light in vacuum. Thus, fundamental constants have facilitated measurement system and formulae by you providing some units that can be used for various purpose and in many formulae. Total 151 words. B. Discuss the about environment, its components and its awareness. Important points for answer. Environment, components, awareness. Answer. Environment is the sphere around us which include living and non-living components including physical, chemical and other natural forces. Living components include microbes, animals and vegetations. Non-living components consist of water, air, soil, rock, etc. Environment provides interaction and interdependency among all components. In balanced environment, there is balance in various ecosystems. All species of life exploit the environmental resources or their existence and growth. But in last some decades, due to industrialization and other activities of men, the environmental condition is degraded. Soil conservation is necessary to get maximum benefit from it. Water needs to be secured from pollutions. Atmosphere gets polluted and dire need is there to save it. Only if limited use of natural resources is done, the fruits can be ripened for a long period. To make the growth and existence of environment sustainable, man have to be aware enough to save the environment. Total 151 words. C. What is human cloning? Is it dangerous or beneficial? Discuss. Important points for answer. Cloning technique. Benefits, dangers, conclusion. Answer. Human cloning is creating a human baby in test tube without use of sexual reproductive system. It is created using stem cells taken from embryo of human which would be capable of being developed into a tissue, organ or a human. Human cloning can be used to produce a person from a cell by using scientific techniques. As cloning can be helpful in curing many diseases, henceforth critical to cure. It can be utilized for therapeutic purposes and help mankind to get rid of heart diseases, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, cancer and so on. But if misused, it can be used to produce many human beings for using them in harmful purposes. A copy of any person can be cloned from a single stem cell derived from his body. It is feared that such use will destroy culture, race and ethics in mankind. On moral, ethical and social grounds, it is rightly opposed due to fear of its misuse as other scientific intervention have been. Total 164 words. Question 12. Answer the following. Answer to each question should be in about 20 words. 2 into 5, 10. A. What is a digital camera? Answer. Digital camera is a camera using an electronic sensor and memory system instead of a film to record messages. Images can be transferred to a computer, internet or can be printed. B. What is firewall in computer language? Answer. Firewall is computer language is a security device to protect computer networks from external access. It keeps data secret and do not allow others to interfere or damage it. Firewall. B. What is multimedia? Answer. Multimedia is a program software of computer which uses simultaneously audio, video, virtual reality and telephony techniques as medium of expression. D. What do the following stand for? 1. HTML. Hypertext Markup Language. FTP. File Transfer Protocol. 3. MELOPS. MELOPS. Million Floating Points Option per Second. 4. Planet. It is not given. Answer is not given. E. What is piracy? Answer. Copy of any original version of program without authority or permission of the owner of copyright being sold in black market illegally is called piracy. Question 13, 14, 15 are based on Question 13, 14, 15 are based on statistical problems questions. So please refer to that from other sources. File 4 complete.